subscribe.
So I had a video idea for today. We're going to be talking about the characters I wanted to see in Sparking Zero. And with the final full roster trailer just dropping earlier this morning, I kind of had to change up the idea of what the video was going to be because I was going to talk about the last couple of spots. Just for me to find out that there's going to be more than 164 characters, which is great, but it kind of sucks for me because now I got to change the video. But I'm happy that we're getting a lot of characters. 182 characters is a lot of characters. But there are some characters that I did see missing that I would love to see as DLC characters. So in this video, we will talk about the DLC characters I would love to see in Sparking Zero. So the rules for this list are basically anyone that hasn't been announced, obviously. We're not going to include anybody that's been announced, so no Goku, no Vegeta, obviously. Anyone that isn't a given. And what I mean by that is characters that we're 125% sure are going to be in the game. So no Beast Gohan, no Orange Piccolo. Those guys are basically given considering the Gammas have been included for the next DLC. And no manga character. No Moro, no Granola, no Ultra Ego Vegeta. Because I haven't read the manga, so I wouldn't know. So yeah. So these next, I'm going to include 15 characters that I think should be included in the next DLC installment of Sparking Zero. Human. Alright, so this one isn't really a request that on my end, but I think it would be a cool ass idea. What if they added a human fighter? Now you're probably wondering, Brian, what the hell is a human fighter? It's the random ass humans in Dragon Ball Z that get involved in any of the Budokai Tenkaichi tournaments. Like this nigga right here. Or this nigga. Or this nigga. Or this nigga. Nah, that ain't Kwache. It's Killer. Like Frieza Soldier, they all have the same moveset and are just there just because Hercules needs some rivals. I don't know. A costumes to differentiate them as different characters like Frieza Soldier would work perfect. I'm not gonna lie. 21. Android 21 would have been a lot later in the list until I realized that she's canonically not a Dragon Ball Z character and she has majority ownership from Arc System Works. So depending on how they feel about her being in Sparking Zero, I could see them adding her as DLC in the future, but I could also see them not adding her as their main focus is anime characters and movies in Dragon Ball Z. But they should consider still adding her. Tambourine. Tambourine is the first Dragon Ball inclusion. He's an important character to the series as he was the first one out of many to unalive Krillin. He was in Tenkaichi 3 and his moveset was pretty basic, but it was still cool to having him in the game, and he can also fly, which is pretty good too. Kid Krillin. Honestly, this one is pretty surprising. It's surprising how Kid Goku returns to all these games, but his best friend and partner in crime, Kid Krillin, doesn't. Ideally, he wouldn't be that different in moveset when it compares to adult Krillin, but he obviously is a lot weaker than Krillin, adult Krillin at least. And I would actually love for him to just make his debut in Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Krillin has faced too many L's recently, bro. It's time to give him his W and include him here. I'd love to use him as a character. Yamu. Now, if you don't remember Yamu, he is a sidekick of Popovich in Dragon Ball Z, specifically in the Buu Saga. He seems to be like a lot calmer and saner version of Popovich due to him just being able to control his power, or maybe because he's just not as strong as Popovich. He isn't stronger than him, but he is a fighter. He was in the tournament, he didn't get to fight, but he was there. And I would love to see him fight, so they should add to Sparking Zero. Gine. Goku's mother. I almost gave this spot to Fasha because she was in the previous Tenkaichi games, but being able to play as Goku's mother would just be so much cooler and just so much better. Perfectionists finna have a mental breakdown and tell me that Fasha is a tier 1 DBZ waifu that needs to be in the game. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna listen to a tier 1 goon that just hates Sparking Zero because they don't have his favorite female characters. Just look at his profile. Anyways, Gine never really showcases her fighting skills in any of the series or the one movie that she was in, but I don't expect anything too crazy from her. Full power energy wave and high speed rush for the win. Nova and Ice Shenron. Now these two could have been their own spots, but nah, I don't feel like doing all that, honestly. They're very similar. Nova and Ice Shenron were two of the Shadow Dragons from Dragon Ball GT. They were both in the Tenkaichi 3 if I'm not mistaken. Movesets for each differ, as Nova focuses on fire stuff and Ice focuses on, you guessed it, ice. I like Nova Shenron, he's cool. And a lot of people forget that he had pure intentions when he was fighting Goku in GT, and all he wanted was a fair fight. It's too bad that he died. Mercenary Tao. Mercenary Tao is one of the most iconic opponents Goku faced in Dragon Ball. I know he's like a loser now, but like when I first watched Dragon Ball, he was just so cool to me. 8-year-old me was like, damn, this nigga's so cold. Mercenary Tao, like Hercule and Goku Teen, I don't know why they call him that, Goku Teen, he's obviously a kid. He wouldn't be able to fly, meaning he'd fight like a storm character, just run around the floor. Kato Pesla. Another Universe 3 character that needs to be in the game. If you don't remember, Kato Pesla was, well, he was in Tournament of Power in Universe 3, the same universe that has Analyza. Kato Pesla is also as strong as Super Saiyan Vegeta, as we've seen in the fight in DBS. I was honestly surprised not seeing him in the Speed vs. Power trailer for when Sparking Zero first was announced. His fight against Vegeta could have been the catapult for his inclusion. Botamo. I am very surprised not to have seen Botamo in any of the trailers, but seeing Kakunza and Analyza being in them was definitely a bit of a shock. Botamo in Dragon Ball Super fought Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, and he's a damn good fighter at that. Include him in Sparking Zero. His big ass stomach shield thing can even give him a little bit of a super armor. A little bit of it though, not a lot. Don't make him like overpowered Broly. Hachiyak. A good way to pay homage to Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast in the new Sparking Zero is to include Hachiyak, a character who had this whole movie localized in the West just for this game specifically. It reminds me a lot of Dragon Ball Z Broly, cause like all the Z fighters were trying to jump in all at once and it was not budging. But then they all hit him with their strongest blast, like a Final Flash and the Masenko and everything, Kamehameha, and he died. Yeah, add a nigga to the Demon King Piccolo. I promise you this will be the last Dragon Ball inclusion in this list. But you can't not tell me it doesn't make sense. You can't just add Kid Goku and leave out Demon King Piccolo. That's just not right. You gotta add him to the game. His moveset is similar to Piccolo's, a little bit slower, and a little bit like, I don't know, he felt a little bit bigger when you used him. But he is his own character at the end of the day. The strongest villain in Dragon Ball, you have to have him. Pikkon. It still confuses me a lot that both Janembas were included, but not Pikkon. And I understand that he technically isn't canon because of the movies. The other World Tournament filler arcs in Dragon Ball Z weren't canon either, but come on. Freaking Tapion is in the game. I want to be able to use Hyper Tornado one more time. This nigga, he's just cold as hell. I know he probably like Piccolo's cousin or something. Super 17.
Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17.
Super 17's exclusion was a glaring hole in the GT trailer. He was like the only major villain from the series to be completely missing. I wanted to be able to say nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17. So he needs to be brought back for the next installment of Sparking Zero as a DLC character. And the #1 pick for the 2024 That Guy Bride DLC character wishlist is Champa. It's still insane to me that Beerus and Whis are both in Sparking Zero, but not Champa. I don't know, it might be because we haven't seen enough for him fighting yet to conclude what type of movement he would have. He's not like a throwaway character, he's pretty important to the show, but I feel like the same can be said about Whis, and a little bit about Beerus as well. He's not a given, but I do expect him to be in the roster as a DLC character. I think he did come into the roster for Xenoverse 2 later on as DLC as well. And I need to have a Beerus versus Champa fight in the game. Even if I'm watching, I need to witness that. And at the end of the day, regardless of who I think should be added to Sparking Zero, I am hyped for this game. Every day I'm hyped, just looking at gameplay and everything. I'm so excited. I'm hyped, bro. The custom battle thing looks cool as hell. That'll be mad fun for me. That'll probably be the main thing I'm going to be focusing on with the addition of like online tournaments. It's just a shame that we're not going to be able to add our own text to the storylines, but I could understand why, because you know some of you guys are a little bit weird. But I'm hyped. I'm hyped, yo. I'm hyped. Let me know in the comments down below who you would like to see in the Sparking Zero as a DLC character. Maybe some characters I completely forgot about. Also, if you're new to the channel, I played Super Dragon Ball Z on the PlayStation 2 a couple of weeks ago. Just definitely go check that video out. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. Leave a like if you haven't. Leave a comment as well if you haven't. Sub if you haven't. Love y'all. Bye bye.